and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on Paramount Plus that has made its triumphant return. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge All-Stars Season 2, Episode 1, and right off the bat I want to mention that this season in Episode 1, they're taking things pretty slow in the very beginning. They want us to get a good vibe on the season, get reacquainted to all the challengers that are coming back either from a long hiatus from the challenge universe, and also getting reacquainted to who we just saw on Season 1 of All-Stars, as well as see how they compete in the first daily challenge. And let's start off how the trailer starts off for Challenge All-Stars 2, and that is with two boats filled with challengers, just beaming with excitement to be back on the challenge. And let's get to know some of the competitors and how they are living outside of the challenge house. We first get to meet Tina, who talks about having a husband, no kids, doesn't work, and has a pool in her backyard. She is living her best life. And then we'll move on to Brad, who lost his job at the start of the pandemic, but he has two sons, and there are a lot of great competitors in the season that he can see, but he deems himself as a great competitor, so he is not having to worry about anything. He is just looking to compete and hopefully get some money. Then Jasmine is back on the challenge, which I'm very excited about. She is all over this first episode in the confessionals, as I thought she would be. She talks about her two kids, her husband, and coming in with a big heart, wanting to succeed on this challenge season. Darrell's coming back from All-Stars Season 1, and he is talking about wanting redemption because he made the finals last season. Heck, he got second place, but he says that that was the first finals he made that he didn't win, and now he's looking to not only make the finals, but get that first place. He has high hopes for the season, and I think that he could do it. I mean, there's a lot of great competitors, but I will always back up my money on Darrell. I just think he can win against anybody in any kind of format, and I mean, he was doing the most in this first episode with the confessionals, with his secret alliances and connections that we'll get into a little further down the line in this video. Both boats dock and everyone gets off, heads to the beach bar where we get to meet up with Tyler, who lives in North Dakota, which this has got to be a stark difference from North Dakota and him being in Cancun, Mexico, but he is a teacher and he is playing for his kids back in North Dakota. Then we meet up with Jody, who, if you thought was a dominant competitor in her earlier challenge seasons, I mean, she only got better with age as she works for an Army wellness center, so her whole background and her career is set up for eating well and keeping yourself in shape. So Jody coming in, she has been married for 13 years, has a couple of kids, she is in tip-top shape, and also she talks about her mental self back in the day. She said that she was unsure of herself in her past seasons, but coming onto this season, she is nothing but confident in her own ability. So I think that Jody is going to be one to look out for in this season. Then we catch up with Leah, who we haven't seen since Season 8 Inferno, where she lost to Kendall in the brick by brick elimination, and she talks about being a new rendition of herself. She is a single mom to a 10-year-old, and she is ready to come in and do her best on the season, showing the world the new Leah. We have a celebrity on our hands, or the hands of a celebrity, I should say, with Steve, who's making his season debut since back in The Gauntlet, Season 7, and he is a hand model, a very successful hand model. Don't let the hair and the beard fool you. This man is not only Aquaman in the face, but he has some gentle giants in his palms right here. Then we see Tech is back for redemption. He talked about how he left off in Episode 3 of last season. He lost Nehemiah. This time, Nehemiah and Tech are working together in this season. So they have an alliance with one another, and he's looking to make it farther in this season. The same with Nehemiah. He talked about later on in the night, he talked about how he always is a nice guy. He never wants to lie, but this season he is going to play cutthroat, that he wants to do everything he can because sometimes nice guys finish last, and he wants to finish first this season. I love to see that tenacity. Ayana is back on the challenge since Battle of the Sexes 2, and she is coming in with a mindset to win. She is a mom of 4, so you know that she has that focus. She has that ability to just hone in and do whatever she puts her mind to. Sophia is coming in, and I'm very impressed with Sophia because of how much strength she has in her and how much just she believes in herself, because she talked about how she was working one company for 20 years, gave her notice of resignation because she wanted to start doing something else with her life, and then the next couple of days or in the next week or so, she got the call for Challenge All-Star Season 2, and here she is, and she is looking to work with Ayanna, to work together from back in the day in Battle of the Sexes 2 connection. I'm happy to see both women back on the challenge season. Someone else I'm very excited to see back, and that is Janae, who is working on her social game and is kicking butt. I think a lot of the competitors that are on this season watched last season and is taking notice of Janae and how well she played last season. But coming into this season, she is trying to play a whole different game, trying to butter up some competitors, try to work their way in socially, and she does a great job with Tina as she is giving her just compliment after compliment, and Tina is just eating it up. We take a break of the mass amount of confessionals and everyone talking with one another and catching up to have TJ greet everyone to the Challenge All-Star Season 2 and to say that we are going to be playing a tough season, so get that winning mentality out, and also you can go run in and go grab your rooms and move into the house, which everyone just runs in and is just trying to grab their beds, try to room with the people that they want to room with, and this is just classic challenge material here with everybody running into the house. And can I just say, this house is gorgeous. It is multi-level. It's got a great backyard, a great pool. I think that this is going to be such a fun season just from the house vibes. Once everybody gets their beds, this is when we get to meet up with Casey again, who is looking for redemption because she has heard from a lot of people that she is deemed the worst competitor in challenge history, but she is coming in as a 34-year-old accountant who has a fiance and looking to win and get that money. Then we catch up with Katie, who we saw in All-Star Season 1, and she says she's improved herself since All-Star Season 1. She worked on her balance, she worked on cardio, both things she thought that were lacking with her last season and ultimately led to her losing in the elimination last season. And so she's coming in way more focused, way more prepared for this season. Love to see it. And MJ is coming in trying to show his kids that, hey, daddy still got it. Kahada, much like Tina, is living his best life outside of the challenge house. He has a longtime girlfriend. He says that his house is like a Hallmark advertisement. Like, who wouldn't want to live that every single day? I mean, come on, Countdown to Christmas is full in bloom right now. And then we have Kendall, who is looking for redemption from last season. She wants to make the final. She wants to win. She says that her kids cried when seeing her get eliminated so late in the game, and now she wants tears of joy to get that win and get that bag. Then we see Nehemiah make the night one speech, get everyone all riled up. And when I say riled up, I mean really riled up, as Tech just gets into his birthday suit and jumps in the pool to christen the pool and christen the season. Ayanna is taking notice of his kingly scepter and is liking what she sees. I think we're gonna see some love blossom between Tech and Ayanna. Oh my gosh. It's getting spicy, episode 1, and this is why we watch All Stars. Melinda is another competitor looking to prove everyone wrong, that she's not as bad of a competitor as her 0-6 record would have her show, but if I'm Melinda, I do not want to see an elimination anytime soon. To not tempt fate with your 0-6 elimination record to turn it to 0-7. And then as the night starts to wind down a little bit and everybody starts to enjoy themselves, this is when we're getting a little bit of game talk. You know, we have Derek and Jody reconnecting. They are both from the same Road Rules season, and now they're talking about, let's have a connection with each other. Let's have an alliance with one another. Let's run this season together. Then we move over to Darrell and Janelle, who is from the Bay Area. They partied with each other. They go way back. So I don't think a lot of the competitors in the game really thought that Darrell and Janelle were going to like have this connection with each other or this bond or have an alliance with each other. But now they have this secret alliance, and I can see that they're going to be two players that are going to be ones to watch, because Darrell is always a beast, and then Janelle is looking fantastic. She's a surgical nurse who has a husband, kids, and she is here for her. And I just feel like she's just radiating off this like vibes of just wanting to murder anybody that gets in the way of this money. I love to see it. Something else I love to see is a real world Cancun mini reunion between Janae, Jasmine, and Derek C. And Derek is like the life of the party here. He is donning wigs, he is getting into Tina's dresses and then walking around to be a neat which is Tina backwards, and he is just strutting his stuff. I love to see it. I think that this is going to work well for Janae. If she can just lay low, keep the target and the threat level mitigated to a very low bar, and then keep her numbers in the game. I mean, this trio is a strong start, as Jasmine is all for keeping Real World Cancun together, and I think Derek would say the same. And then, as everyone is donning up their gear to head to the first daily challenge of the season, we have Derek and Nehemiah, who are talking about their awkward friendship, so to speak. They weren't on the same wavelength last season, and then coming into this season, I don't think either one knows where they lie with each other. I don't think they can trust each other, so there's a lot of like side-eyeing each other, and I think that could come to a head later on in this Challenge All-Star season. But we're gonna put a pin in that as everyone makes their way to meet up with TJ for this week's daily mission. But before we get to all of that, first TJ wants to explain the rules and format of this challenge season. Of course, they're playing for $500,000, and this is going to be a free agent style format where each daily challenge can either be played in teams, pairs, or solo. There will be one man and one woman to win in power for the episode, every single episode. And he doesn't say it really right off the bat because he wants it to be like a reveal towards the end of the episode, but he tells everyone, you do not want to get last place. I'm just going to say last place is not a good look for anybody, which just signified to me before we even got into the daily challenge that they brought back whoever gets last place goes directly into the elimination, which I'm so excited about. This Challenge All-Star season just keeps on getting better and better, and we're only in the first episode. But now let's head into this week's daily challenge called Boarding Party, where everyone's going to be paired up and they're going to have to make their way from a schooner to a boat, and then grab a skull, and then make their way via a balance beam to another boat, and then dunk their skull in a net. This is a timed event, and the team that can dunk the most skulls in the quickest time will win into power. So let's just head into this. I'm not going to get into every single team because there's 12 teams, and they even glance over some of the teams because of how this game goes. But we're going to first start off with Ryan and Jasmine, as they are the first teams up. And let me tell you right now, Jasmine has the highlight of the game where they both make it across. Ryan dunks this easily, and then after Ryan dunks it, I don't know if the wind takes the net, but it is completely off on Jasmine's side. And Jasmine is quite short, so she is really having to lay out there and try to just get this skull in, and it just bounces perfectly into the net. They get both skulls in. Then we have Derek and Jody, who just absolutely crush this. And you would just think, like, of course they would. And they do. They crush it. They get both skulls in. But Tina is, like, noticing them. She's like, okay, they did that pretty quickly. It was nothing to them, and they are going to be really strong competitors, so I'm going to keep an eye out for them. And then we have Nehemiah and Ayana, who is just ready to get things done. However, when they do their run, Nehemiah is trying to walk on the board instead of try to booty scoot, and then he just falls directly, hits it with the nut buster. So that showed everybody, like, maybe I won't try to walk on this, which gets TJ very frustrated towards the end of this episode. But then we have Ayana, who is trying to make her way across the balance beam and then just slips off and falls into the water. And we're only 3 teams in, so we have another 9 teams, and all the teams are just like, we got to do better than that. As long as we get across the beam together, we don't even have to worry about getting the skulls in. We just have to cross the beams and we will be fine. And that's basically how everybody does it. Darrell and Kendall booty scoots across and gets both skulls in. Casey and Tech booty scoot their way across the beam, both get onto the second boat, but when Casey tries to dunk it, she misses it completely, even with Tech's help, and then Tech dunks his, so they only get 1 skull, but they still do better than Nehemiah and Ayana. Kahada and Sophia both score. Latyrian and Leah both booty scoot to score. Brad and Katie booty scoot to score. Tyler and Janelle, John A and MJ, and then Tina and Steve. Everyone does it the same way, just scooting across and then dunking the skull, which once everybody gets to where TJ is giving out the results, he is furious. He's telling everybody that they suck, that was terrible. You all look like a bunch of scared cats. You were playing not to lose instead of to win. And I thought that this was pretty, like, Whoa, TJ, this is episode 1. I totally understand where you're coming from because I know that the challenge producers were thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be so fun. This is going to be such a funny episode where we're going to have all the competitors doing this wobbly walk across this wobbly beam between two boats, and we're going to have some great wipeouts. So TJ makes this a thing of just like totally shaming everybody for playing it safe and not trying to walk on it, even though the one person that did walk on it was Nehemiah and he hurt himself. And then they didn't have to put themselves in danger and risk it. TJ and the producers were just upset because they were outgamed by the competitors and they found a loophole and they were able to use it to their advantage. TJ then takes this announcement and this frustration that's inside him and says to everyone that there's going to be a double elimination every single episode, that one man and one woman will be leaving the game every single episode, and that Nehemiah and Ayana were the last place team. They're going to be sent directly into the elimination, and the winners are between two teams, and that was Derek and Jody and Tina and Steve, and there was only 1 second that separated them, and the winner is Derek and Jody. So they went into the power couple for the first episode and they have a big decision to make. They have to nominate 4 people, 2 men and 2 women up for elimination, and then the rest of the house will vote who they want to send in out of those 4 players. At least that's what it sounds like to me. If that's not how it sounds like, or if that's not how it is at all, let me know in the comments section below. But now the pressure is on, and coming back to the challenge house, Derek and Jody are now having to think about who they're going to send in. And the game is getting real because now there's a decision to be made. Somebody is going to be nominated. 4 people are going to be nominated. And so we have Nehemiah getting ready because he's definitely going into the elimination. John A is feeling paranoid, but she's trying to keep it on the down low because this game is always changing. The power is always changing, and she is just wanting to stay low, keep her head low, and just play the game as it comes to her. But Nehemiah is getting ready. Him and Tech are showing that they are in alliance with each other. And then we go to darkness, because that's where this episode ends. We leave on a cliffhanger, as we're going to probably see a good amount of drama happening in the next episode as Derek and Jody are going to have to make their decisions, and then we're going to get the first elimination of the season, and who is everybody going to be going up against in the elimination. I cannot wait to see what the elimination. I really only have one critique on this first episode, and it is not getting an elimination. I think it would have been a perfect first episode if we could have gotten elimination. I really wish that this episode was 90 minutes so we could have gotten everything, because I do agree that we needed more time to get reacquainted with all the competitors coming back to the challenge season and the challenge universe that we haven't seen in forever, and I wanted to spend that time with them, so I really appreciated that. But I would have also loved more of the daily and an elimination. Like, let's make this episode 90 minutes instead of the main season. But if that's my only critique, I'll live with it as we wait for another episode for the first elimination of the season. But what do you think about this first episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Who are you happy to see on this season? Who are you rooting for? And who do you think is going to be picked by Derek and Jody to be sent into the elimination against Nehemiah and Ayana? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Also, what do you think about the first daily challenge? Do you think it was fun? Do you think it was pretty simple? I think it was simple and fun. And are you excited for episode 2? Let me know that as well. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge All-Star 2 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.